Hello and welcome back to the Snakebite. I am James Simpson. This is Carl Van Gelder. It was a good week of Mocs athletics. We've got basketball, we've got swim, and hockey back up on deck on Friday. That and more in this week's episode of the Snakebite.
Let's start off with the high-flying Mocs men's basketball team. Since last week, the Mocs have added 2 wins to their record and sit atop the Sunshine State Conference ahead of their matchup tonight. Last Wednesday, the Mocs traveled north to St. Leo in what ended up being a nail-biter, and in the close game, the Mocs played a limited rotation with only 7 players entering the game, but with everyone scoring. Leading the way for scoring were the usual suspects, Luke Anderson and Alex Steen, who both had 24 points and double-digit rebounds. However, they did it very differently. The floor-spacing forward Luke Anderson did so with 4 triples, and Steen comparatively didn't shoot a single 3, but shot 8 free throws, sinking 6, along with his 9 field goals and 14 rebounds on the night. The other Mocs contributed as well, with 5 Mocs in double figures, not including 𝙏𝙃𝙀, who had 7 points, but had major contributions on the defensive end. One of the scorers in double figures was 6-man Erickson bands that our own Emma Lauren Poole caught up with post-game.
We're here with Erickson bands at St. Leo University after another victory for the Moccasins tonight, coming off of a tough road battle last weekend. What was the kind of preparation for the team? What were your thoughts coming into this contest?
I mean, basically it was just staying together, keeping that mindset of just pushing through. You know, we lost last week, and you know we just had to pick it up. Honestly, you know, 7 guys deep. We fought hard till the end, and we came up victorious, so that was the biggest.
And speaking of that, you really rallied together in the second half to make something incredible happen. What was that like from halftime until the end of the game, just to push together and to stick together like you were mentioning?
Honestly, it was just defense. As long as we got stops, it was going to translate to offense, and we got some big stops, and guys was hitting shots, Joe Moon and Dom, and then from there, you know, came up victorious. So it was just basically defense. That's all we talked about at halftime, and we came out victorious. So it worked.
And an incredible individual performance from you tonight with 13 points. What are you kind of taking with you for the next contest?
Honestly, I don't care about points. I just do whatever it takes to win. And if I got to score 0, 2, 5, 13, it doesn't matter to me as long as we win.
That's a good mindset to have. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
The Mocs, fresh off their 100-98 victory at St. Leo, found themselves at home this past Saturday, which is a rarity this month, in a matchup against Lynn.
Yeah, and Carl, the Mocs did not slow down at all in that game. They forced 17 turnovers, gathered 9 steals, including 3 each by Dominic Denny and Joe Moon IV. Off those turnovers, the Mocs scored 21, including this steal by Denny, leading to an Anderson slam, which you will see right here.
Only have 9 fouls here in the half. Lynn only had 2 in the whole first half. There's a steal by Denny. This is Ballard. He dumps it for Luke. Boom. Ho, ho! And that is a career high for Luke Anderson, who comes down and swats it the other way. Holy cow. Unbelievable.
Anderson led the Mocs in scoring with 27 points, and Steen right there with him, scoring 24 of his own. The Mocs rode a 59-point second half to defeat the Fighting Knights 103-82. Anderson's performance this week earned him his 2nd consecutive SSC Men's Basketball Player of the Week award and his 3rd this season. With the Mocs' victory over Lynn and Nova Southeastern's loss at Tech, the Mocs have sole possession of first place in the SSC standings for the first time in a while, with a record of 13-4 and 7-1 in conference play. That loss was to Tech. Don't get too comfortable, though. The SSC is tough. 8 of the 11 teams boast records over 500 before this week's action, and the Mocs are on the road for the next 3, starting by taking on Barry and Miami Shores tonight at 7:30 p.m.
James, we love talking about Alex Steen, and there's a lot of reasons for that, as he's having a tremendous season so far and getting national recognition as well. Steen has been named to the initial top 100 watch list for the prestigious Bevo Francis Award, announced Monday, January 15th by Small College Basketball and the National Awards Committee. The Clarence Bevo Francis Award is given annually to the top non-Division I men's basketball player in the country and includes student athletes from NCAA Division II and III NAI Divisions 1 and 2, and the USCAA and the NCCA. Steen's sophomore campaign has exceeded all expectations as he leads the nation in double-doubles with 11 in 17 games and in blocks with 58. He also leads the prestigious Sunshine State Conference in rebounds, blocks per game, field goal percentage, and double-doubles. Steen is one of only 15 sophomores to make this watch list, and stay tuned to our social media and next week's Snakebite for our interview with Steen.
Now we will shift to women's basketball. After a rocky start to conference play, the Mocs picked up an overtime win against the Panthers and looked to keep the ball rolling as they traveled to St. Leo last Wednesday. After a rough first quarter, the Mocs found their footing, shooting 70% from the floor during the second quarter. Amari Jackson continued her recent tear, shooting 11 for 15 from the field en route to a career-high 24 points. Jackson dominated on the glass too, pulling down 9 boards and rejecting a pair of shots in the 70-58 win over St. Leo. Our very own Emma Lauren Poole caught up with Jackson after the game.
I'm here at St. Leo University with Amari Jackson, who just scored 24 points, a personal best in the 70-58 win against St. Leo, another conference road win for the team. How does it feel?
It feels really good. We work hard and practice a lot, and I just want to thank my teammates for trusting me and believing in me and just having my back no matter what. I wouldn't have done this without them.
And y'all really began to find your rhythm pretty well within the second quarter. What do you think clicked for the team, or what changed after the first quarter?
Honestly, just listening to coach, just, getting after it, getting rebounds, doing the little things, just getting stops, being aggressive, just every little thing led up to a big win.
And we always like to know, how are you going to take the lessons you learned here and prepare for the next contest?
So I'm just going to take it in, I'm not, I scored 24 points, but, the sky's the limit. I'm just going to keep working, and, I'm always going to be hungry, and I'm just going to keep getting after it every day.
All right, thank you so much, Amari. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
They were back on the home hardwood this past Saturday to take on the Lynn Fighting Knights, and like the game at St. Leo, they fell behind early after a rough first quarter. However, after a strong second quarter caught the Mocs back up, they found themselves only trailing by 2 at half. The Mocs never could quite close the gap and ended up playing catch-up from that point forward, and despite a fourth quarter push, they fell to the Fighting Knights 67-71. 𝙏𝙃𝙀, though, was a bright spot, especially at the end, where she scored 21 points, a career high, including 3 clutch three-pointers late in that fourth quarter. She also grabbed 5 rebounds in the process. And Amari Jackson also reached double-digit points in limited minutes with 12 points and 7 boards despite foul trouble. Anna Danish led the Mocs in rebounding with 10, 6 being on the offensive end as well. They'll take the trip down to Barry tonight with a 5:30 p.m. tip, looking to get back on track as they approach the midway point of conference play.
Both swim teams were in action this weekend. They started off at Rollins Friday afternoon, where familiar names Olivia Miles and Elizabeth Sykes had event wins in their primary disciplines. Miles, the 1,000 free, and Sykes in the 200 and 100 fly. Jazzy Hoffman got in on the winning action with a W in the 50 free. Unfortunately, the 6 event wins and near podium sweep in the 400 IM were not enough to get the job done as the Mocs dropped their duel with the Tars. It was the same story for the number 14 ranked men's team. Event wins from John Zyger, Brandon Wilson, and Kyle Mikolev weren't enough to get the W in Winter Park against the 24th ranked Tars.
And both teams returned to action the following day for their senior day matchup against Barry University. The women dominated, winning nearly every individual event and putting together a few impressive relay performances. In the senior day ceremony, Brooke Brennan, Allie Brinton, Morgan Champagne, Jazzy Hoffman, Tegan Mikulek, Emily Peck, Stephanie Suarez, and Janie Davis. It was more of the same for the men. They celebrated Cameron Lai Harris, Kyle Mikolev, Boris Matev, and Ludwig Mueller before dominating an admittedly fledgling Barry U program. Both teams will wrap up regular season competition on the road with meets at Nova Southeastern and Lynn University on the 19th and 20th. And for more complete results, Friday and Saturday's matchup, visit fscmocs.com.
And the Mocs women continued to shine outside of the water, with the indoor track team seeing the freshman record for the indoor mile, previously held by Caitlin Beery, broken in definitive fashion. This past Friday at the Jimmy Carnes Invitational, freshman Grace Reed ran a time of 5:18.6 to secure the record, finishing second in her heat and with the second best time of the day for the two women, just behind Emma Musante's 11th overall time of 5:17.22. Despite no records falling for the men, they still had an eventful day, with Alex Guy and Anthony Matthew finishing 1-2 in the mile, both in 4:17 low, with Guy just outleaning Matthew at the end after Matthew's terrific kick. He doubled back in the 3K, finishing 12th overall in 8:43, with Carl Van Gelder, who you may know, finishing 13th with a time of 8:50. The Mocs return to action this Friday and Saturday back in Gainesville at the RADD Sports College Invitational, where more records will look to be taken down.
And just a reminder that the Mocs ice hockey team is back in action for the first time this week following their winter break. The Mocs dominated during the first half of their season, winning 10 of 13 matches, and they'll look to carry that momentum into 2024 as they take on the University of Florida Friday night with an 8 o'clock puck drop at the Lakeland Ice Arena. And that is it for the Snakebite this week. We've been running around catching all of that information for you guys, whether in the pool, on the track, or on the basketball court. And be sure to tune in next week for some good interviews with Alex Steen and then for some more coverage here on the Snakebite.